This week's From Start to Finish video is a layout that features 48 small 1¼ inch square photos. This is another one of my layouts for last year. I did a layout a month. I'm still working on completing them, where it kind of encompasses the entire month in a glance. And for this layout, I'm going to show you some of the products I've pulled to get started with, and this is the Stella and Rose collection from My Mind's Eye, specifically the Hattie collection, and it's got lots of teals and aquas and gold and a little bit of black and some navy blue thrown in there. Really, really pretty collection. Here's one of the papers that has all of the colors in it. Gorgeous collection. I love the new My Mind's Eye papers. To go with that, there you can kind of see all those papers laid out. I've pulled a couple of the papers from the new Echo Park for the Record collection. This newsprint coordinates really nice with so many things, but I thought it looked really great and vintagey, kind of like the Stella and Rose collection does. Also, a couple of the solids from the Record, or for the Record rather, collection. The teal and the cream look really nice and complement the Stella and Rose papers. So that is the papers that I have picked. Oh, there's a little bit of a close-up. And you can just see how those look really nice together. Next, I pulled a few embellishments that I think that I may want to use with my page. When I do pull embellishments, oh, here is the photos. I'll print it out. When I pull my embellishments, I don't always end up using them all, but I'm just kind of showing you my process for picking embellishments. These are the little label stickers that coordinate with the Stella and Rose My Mind's Eye collection. I love label stickers, so those are right down my alley. I also pulled the thrift shop word stickers from October Afternoon. They match that vintage-ish type feel. I also pulled these resin flowers. These are Making Memories resin flowers. I did end up pulling, I think, one new resin flower from a new Prima collection, and then these great vintage looking buttons that coordinate with the new My Mind's Eye collections. I love those button cards. Also some ribbon trim. I'm going to use that black and cream stripe. Get that tape to pull up there. It's a really wide ribbon, but I want to make a little ribbon tab at the top of the page or at the side or something like that. So I have that, and I pulled this kind of goldish brown silk ribbon as well. I ended up not using it on the page, but it does coordinate nicely. And I thought I might try some stamping, but really I just did not end up having room, so I'll have to use those on another project. I'm going to kind of speed up the video here and just show I'm trimming all that white border off of my photo collages. A lot of times I leave it on, but for this particular page I really didn't feel like I needed it. I'm going to be adding a lot of layering with my pattern papers and embellishments, so I really just felt like I didn't need that extra white border. So I'm just kind of pulling out my paper and seeing which ones I like, and I usually move them around a lot like this, trying to figure out what I like where. I have trimmed down some of my paper now, and I took this one paper that it has a very faint damask pattern in the background, and I did print my journaling on it. So now I'm just going to trim a few strips from a couple of the other papers and then lay them out to see if I like how this looks. So I trimmed a strip from that floral background, trimmed a strip that I had printed my journaling on, plus you can see I die cut my title. All of my pages in this kind of collection that I'm doing all have a similar title, so I did die cut that. Easily achieved with stickers or rub-ons or stamps as well. This teal kind of solid grungy edge background paper from Echo Park rather, is going to be my mat for my pattern paper strip, my journaling strip, and my photo collages. So everything kind of gets mounted on this strip. Then you can see the yellow polka dot there behind it. I kind of have it skewed a little bit. I want to make it kind of look like a stack of random papers kind of thrown on top of this newsprint page, just to make a fun and interesting mat for the background of my design. So I'm going to trim down this yellow polka dot the same size as my teal mat there, but I'm going to use Tim Holtz's edge distresser to distress the edges of that really nicely, kind of curl up the corners and just ever so lightly distress those edges. I didn't run it really hard. I didn't want a really hard distressed edge. I just wanted it to be kind of softly distressed, if that makes sense. Now I'm going to take this black design paper and I'm just going to cut a thin strip, about a 2-inch strip from it, and round the outer 2 corners. Use the edge distresser again, and I'm going to tuck it there behind. And that just kind of helps ground everything, that dark color, to the background of that newsprint paper. I'm going to cut another strip and do the same thing, distress all the edges around the corners, and tuck it on the other side. That way I don't have to waste, I don't have to waste an entire sheet of paper for another mat, and B, it just kind of helps keep the layers to a little bit of a minimum, just tucking little bits and pieces underneath that give the illusion of a full sheet of paper. Now I'm ready to adhere my papers and things. I'm going to go ahead and get the background all put together so that I can start adding the fun stuff, the embellishments. Just going to get that all lined up how I want it. I'm going to have to lift that up just a little bit. I've been asked a lot about what adhesive I use. I use the Tombow mono adhesive, sold here at 2 Peas in a Bucket. It is fairly easy to lift your project or paper up until it's sat for a little bit, and certain papers are better than others. Sometimes those thinner papers really tear bad, so it isn't always real easy to remove your paper or whatever. I usually don't press everything down really good until I'm sure it's staying there. And I've gotten very good at hiding when it tears my paper. So I'm adhering those black pieces, and I can see now already that it's not going to be sticking out far enough to make enough of an impact, so I'm going to have to remove that and pull it out a little bit. I tried to put it in too close, and my photo mat is covering it all up. So I just carefully move those out just a little bit, and now you can really see that black pop, and it makes the rest of it really stand out more. Here is that really pretty black ribbon, and a little tip is fold your ribbon in half if you want to give it that nice notched edge, and then trim a little notch out of it, and it makes it perfectly even rather than trying to cut from one side and from the other. So I just tuck that underneath my layered photo mat, or my layered mats there, background. And I'm just kind of laying out some of those resin flowers. I'm going to trim one of those yellow, before I do that, I guess I'll add a couple of stickers, and I stamp the date on this My Mind's Eye one, and then the other one is from October Afternoon. And I am going to thread some baker's twine, and I'm going to sew my buttons in place up there on the top of the page. Oh, before I do that, I am going to use some glossy accents to adhere those resin flowers to my page. I could use glue dots or something like that, but I prefer liquid adhesive just because those are kind of bulky and slightly heavier than a normal embellishment, I would say. and I don't want them to move. So a lot of times I'll use a strong liquid adhesive to keep them in place. And then I'll sew on my buttons at the top of the page. I use some spray adhesive for my die cuts. You can also use spray adhesive for letter stickers that maybe have lost their stickiness. I know sometimes things like my thickers aren't very sticky and I get irritated with that, so I like to use some spray adhesive on the back. That way it's not like a liquid adhesive that might glob out on the sides or anything. And I was doing it upside down, trying to get it really nice and even there. Sometimes I flip my page around when I'm working just because I think it makes it a little bit easier. And here is my resin flower storage. I keep them in these little compartments by color. And I did pick out a little blue one, or a teal one rather, because I just thought I needed that pop of blue with the resin flowers. The teal one is Prima and all the rest are Making Memories. For more information on this layout, please visit Two Peas in a Bucket on February 23rd, 2011. Thanks for watching another From Start to Finish video brought to you by twopeasinabucket.com. Thanks for watching.